Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse, the WXW Review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hamilton, joined by our very own Psycho Mike Gilby. And Mike, how's it going after Carat?
Who wants to see a body slam?
I think so. About 20 of us think we've had enough of a weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, well, you can never have enough body slams. Unless you're
Jacob Crane, in which case.
Yeah.
We can take a belated look at the Carat weekend. I'm not going to look at the showcase thing that just dropped on demand today, but how the hell did you dodge the Carat COVID, Mike?
I think I had it was confirmed because I did test multiple times before I went. I had a mild cold going out, which I believe I was still fighting off like on the Thursday. But it was not COVID. It was confirmed not to be COVID multiple times. And I don't know whether it's just because my immune system was like kicking the shit out of everything. It might have just survived through that. I don't know, but yeah, it seemed to be fine. The only thing I've had out post Carat is my ears popped going on the Thursday because I had like a mild cold, and they still not unpopped. So that's the only thing that's slightly annoying. But yeah, I mean, I managed to avoid the big C. So
there's a lot of positivity coming out of Carat weekend, and thankfully it's more than just for tests. But it's going to have my voice is just about fighting it off. But I guess main thing before we're not going to go match by match because it's all on WXWnow.com and we're not masochists. But just general thoughts of the entire weekend. I mean, I guess for me, think about all 4 seasons in one weekend. Rain in Gelsenkirchen, snow before night one, had a fair bit of wind with a fair bit of sunshine. Like crazy weather for Carat weekend.
Yeah, it was, and the Friday especially. I woke up on Friday morning quite a reasonable time, and I went over to Hattingen, which is sort of at the end of one of the S-Bahn lines, S3 or something, and it was beautiful. It was actually quite. I had my coat off in the morning, and then I sort of had a walk around there, and it was about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Then it started raining there, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Got on the train all the way back to Oberhausen, absolutely soaked. I get back to the trip and get dry again, and then I go out to the bowling alley, and then I'm coming out of the bowling alley, and it's pouring down with snow, and I'm like, well, bloody hell! So I think I got a little taste of summer from the when I was in Hattingen, but that was about it. But it's better to be walking around in snow than I think it is to be walking around in the rain. So at least it's dry.
I mean, for the circle, so obviously, this was Gadget's first trip to Germany for Carat or for anything, but it's wrestling related. And we found out day or two before flying out that public transport, especially for trains, was an absolute mess.
Yes,
like we're doing some train works between now and July around Duisburg, and it basically meant all the train times we threw out were just forget that. Like a lot of folks coming in from the airport, basically had to take a few trains, changes, or get buses. I know I arrived on Wednesday afternoon, and this was also in the middle of quote unquote informal strike action. And then there was a lot of trains just suddenly fell off the schedule. When I left Heathrow, I thought, right, get to Dusseldorf this time in my house laid out anyway, so I was already having that problem. Get out through an hour's queue for passport control because, yay, Brexit. And, get my train for it. Right, get through, see what time the trains are. I'll grab some lunch. Open the DB Navigator app. This train is cancelled. All the options were for buses.
Well, you see, I don't quite understand it because it was absolutely fine for me both ways.
Yeah. I mean, I got there, outbound. Not a single train. I knew I was going to have to make a change, but everyone was saying, get to Duisburg, get off and bus. Well, get to Duisburg, the signs are non-existent or barely there. So finally find where the bus stops are. Eventually get to Oberhausen, no problem. Coming back, same thing. A lot of trains fell off the schedule for right. Went with DB up again, and it said, go through to Gelsenkirchen, and there's a train from Gelsenkirchen to Dusseldorf. Great. So go for machine, punch in, Oberhausen to Düsseldorf Airport, make the change at Gelsenkirchen, get on the train, first stop on, tickets please. This ticket is invalid. What do you mean? I'm going from Oberhausen to Düsseldorf Airport. I put that in the machine and those were the times I was given at the station. Oh no, you need to buy another ticket at Essen. Like, but I got on at Düsseldorf at Gelsenkirchen. I mean, look, the guy let us off.
I have to admit,
like,
that doesn't make any sense because it's all on the. Sorry, this is not really related to Carat at all, but it's all on the same VRR tariff. So I don't understand why. Yeah,
it just
I think
made no
they might have been
sense.
trying to hustle you then. To be honest.
Well, maybe we've even said, well, do I need to buy a new ticket? Oh no, we don't sell them on here. Well, what are you going to do? Chuck me off? But same as all fun and games, and obviously for tying us back into the wrestling, for Inner Circle, a lot of the trains we flagged up didn't exist. The only train that did exist was a shuttle between Oberhausen and Gelsenkirchen, which passed the old academy, Zollverein Nord. And getting there, I ended up with train of Gage. A few folks took an earlier train, Flopmore took a later one.
Yeah.
And getting there was like, I've never walked from Gelsenkirchen station to the new academy. When I went in October, Stricker gave me a lift, so that bit was like, oh, it'd be dead easy, follow Google Maps. Google Maps frickin' betrayed me. Like, it was fine, but then it sent me and Gadge down this like back end of a housing estate, pouring rain at this point. Luckily, we get to the academy and get the last spot under the the covered area. So we're able to dry off a little bit. But the thing that really wound up, Alan Cheapshot took the train after us, got there 5 minutes after we did. It's like, so he left 40 minutes after we did, and we wasted half an hour walking there, but no, we got there at least.
You had problems. I feel like you was just the bad luck Ian all weekend, to be honest.
Well, definitely was one coming back, but so yeah, got through in a circle. I think they said it's 100 people there for the show.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So second one they've done that building, and I've seen a few I'd say complaints, but a few criticisms of it. In terms of star names or star power, it's maybe the weakest one I've had for a while, but I think for a lot of people, if you were there for this show, you had your star born, about this time on Thursday night 2 weeks ago, in fact.
Yeah, we're literally probably almost to the hour. It was it's always a bit of a pre-season tournament. I feel like it's so like that sort of thing. Everyone's sort of getting their neck in for the first before their big match. But yeah, it was the first. It was the debut. I think I assume you're talking about Mike DiVecchio. It was his debut.
Oh yeah.
In WXW, it was his debut, and he basically threw Jaden Newman around for about 10 minutes. That was quality.
Yeah, that was sod.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to see Mike D a couple of times beforehand. I'd seen him at Wrestling Cult a few times, and I'd watched him on tape in Berlin and a few places like that. So I've seen him around, but he's. I'm kind of. I wasn't sure if he was going to gel with the. I want to say the smart crowd, because he's not. He's just a big dude who just throws people around, and that's great. But that's not for everybody. I'm well aware. But no, excellent. He did absolutely. He couldn't have done any better in his debut, to be honest. And I think he was a solid hand all weekend.
I think a lot of folks who watch action wrestling and are part of the US Indies. Jaden is known as being like above football analogy, again, a utility player. But he's good main event. He's also good, being thrown around and bumping his ass off for someone like Mike D. He was a guy. A lot of folks on night one's like, was Dan said the future of wrestling? I've seen it, and he's Belgian. And he's also got 2 bookings this WrestleMania weekend, which completely caught me off guard. But yes, going for the show.
We're trying to get him booked for Bloodsport.
It was a spot going against John Moxley all of a sudden, which yes, in a circle we saw the start for weekend long storyline. Psycho Mike wanting to body slam Jacob Crane again. Trios match. I think that was quite fun for what it was. Thomas Shy and Gullis Jr. two big lads, which is a bit of a hint for what we're going to get late in the weekend. And Fumino Yabe over Adam Priest, main event, 10 minutes. But I think, like I said, in terms of an inner circle, maybe not the best in terms of big names, but a perfectly fine, workable wrestling show. And under 2 hours as well, which no one's going to complain about at the start of a weekend like this.
Yeah, exactly, and it's always a bit of a it's quite an easy sort of way to ease into the weekend, really, more than anything else. So it was a neat show, and it usually is one of the highlights. And I think there's no different this time.
So get going tonight, one of Carat, of course, all the snow, heute Karat, heute Schnee. Pre-show, Ilya Bloom, Godfrey pre-show, alternate four-way win over Anil Marek, Fast Time Mudo, Gulius Jr. I think that's on the YouTube channel again. It's okay for 8 minutes. You're not going to get too much of that time, especially in the four-way. But I think the other thing this weekend, they're putting a lot of stock into Ilya Bloom.
Yeah, I mean, historically, it kind of makes a lot of sense because I think you say we've mentioned the sort of the interview that Dreisker had sort of midway through last year, where he'd said that basically, as well as Oscar, it's Orshi and Ilya Bloom who are the ones who are worth watching. They're the sort of the future stars of European wrestling. So it's a good. I think he's got a lot to learn. He's got a long way to go for sure. But he definitely sort of got some good miles under his belt this weekend. Lots of different types of matches, lots of really, really strong showings, and I think he did. He's had he needs to sort of keep at it. And slightly off topic, but I did see him at Wrestling Cult on the Saturday morning, facing against Mikey Schwartz. No, not. Was it Mikey Schwartz or was it Alpha Kevin? I can't remember. It might have been Alpha Kevin. But anyway, he was working heel in that match. It was Alpha Kevin, I think of it. He was working heel in that match, and he was really, really good as a heel. So, like, having sort of seen him do something more than the fired up young lion thing was quite enjoyable. So, I think there's a lot of promise in there. I think he's a long way off, but it's good. This is the sort of weekend you need to sort of have to get to that next stage. Because if you think about what Francis Caspin was in 2017, Carat, that sort of level, I feel like he's maybe at that point.
So it was a media lunch we did on the Friday before this, and Ilya's name came up. So would you, again, I wouldn't be best placed to say yes or no because my knowledge of mainstream or mainland European wrestling is not quite what it was. But being touted as like maybe the rookie of the year last year, I can't think of that many other names who would even come close in terms of like first year, the consistency. Maybe Orshi, we also mentioned.
Orshi, Oscar, yeah.
But yeah, so
maybe someone like a Gulias, maybe.
But it depends how you define rookie, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's the whole.
You have your breakout year, don't you?
I mean, the Observer Awards, and they bloody had someone who'd been wrestling 11 years down as finishing third place in Rookie of the Year. So,
yeah,
criteria's a little bit loose, but a lot going in for Ilya Bloom, Anil Marek. A bit more about him over the weekend. Not a good run for him, but night one. Guess standouts. Axel Tischer. Decent. I'd say one of the best first round matches, along with the Lucha lads. There's another thing for the weekend. Irie and Metahan first round. I know when these got announced, I was a bit. If Irie gets past this, I think he's through to the final. But I think we need to talk about Metahan. Like, I don't want to say he's washed because I know it's very reductive and sensationalist to put it like that. But his only match for the weekend is that first round Carat match. The rest of the weekend he was like
sort of a manager-y sort of thing.
Manager, second, or whatever you want to call it. It's like, what nerves? I know there's a Benno, this was his gimmick. What's going on with Lucky Kid?
Well, yeah, I just feel he's just a bit rudderless, sort of in this. He's not really got any direction. He seems to be technically acceptable. The work is fine. There's nothing that's blowing your mind away, though. I mean, he is working elsewhere, so it's not as if he sort of struggled through that match against the Irie, and then he's like, okay, I'm actually injured, by the way. He's just a bit of a lost cause really at the moment. I don't really. I think it's one of the most ill-advised heel turns I think they've ever had. I can't think of any wrestler, at least on the independent scene, who's had such a poorly received sort of gimmick change and subsequent heel turn. Like, I can't think of anybody who's had it worse, really. Can you?
I mean, it's not really that good a sign when your tag partner, for one better word. Okay, I know it's a meme, it's the ironic cheers. When people are chanting for Rambo over you, I
Rambo
don't
gets
know.
more of a reaction.
Yeah.
And like, even sort of, I think probably, I dare say if I could probably come out over the weekend, I dare say he possibly would have got a bit more.
They kind of solved that. I don't know. This is me just spitballing. They had Safari meaning as, I guess, I don't want to say understudy, but out of nowhere suddenly being put in my group is a little bit, what the hell's going on, lads?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that's one to keep an eye on, especially because night 2 they played a fairly big part in the main event. And who knows what directions for them coming out. The only bit I want to call about night 1, Ahura against Maggot. I mean, watching it back on tape, it wasn't as bad, but my God, it was a flat finish for folks live.
I think the issue with this match is that the big sort of clash they had was at Anniversary, and it was a ladder match. And then the next sort of follow-up match is this. And it's like, how do you top a ladder match? No matter how big the match is, it's the Friday night of Carat, it's like an important match in that sort of sense. But how do you go and follow a ladder match with quite an iconic ending? I think the whole standing over at the end sort of thing, that was quite good. It's just for me, I think it was just a bit like, if had this been a ladder match, or been like had this been the street fight, that would have been a lot more interesting. But yeah, I think a bit of an ill-advised thing. I think it was. I'll be honest, it was always the match I think was going to be the main event. I don't.
If Matt was could have lineup, you weren't going to get anything else. Yeah,
I didn't have very much. I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be very good. I think it was just. I don't know whether it's. It's a hell of an investment to give them the main event on night 1 of Carat. One of the biggest matches of the year, night 1 main event. But that was a bit of a. It was a good investment in them too, but they really did not perform at all. It's I don't know. I feel that Maggot's sort of come out of the weekend a bit. I don't know, not on fire. I think that we were expecting.
And was it LSG who's heading over from the States again for a few months?
Yeah,
I've seen on Twitter he was very much not a fan of cutters. For the love of God, do not show him this match. The amount of cutters they hit and the kickouts, like, I get it, it's the main event, you're not going to lose to a cutter, but yeah, I think this is something that, I guess, we said we're doing the Zivinol's X9 street fight in Frankfurt this weekend. I think that's the one where there'll be a lot of folks looking to see.
I think this is they need to do something.
Not redemption, but
one.
is that where they maybe do what they should have done at Carat?
They need to do something special out of this next match, or they need to bury this stuff. Really, to be honest, it's I can't. I'm not willing to watch this for another 6 months. To be honest, it's Ahura is. I think the issue with Maggot and Ahura is, I think that they're both decent wrestlers, but they know each other so well. But like, I feel like Maggot's ceiling is a lot lower than Ahura's in that sort of sense. But I feel that Ahura's basement, in the sense of like the bottom of Ahura's thing, is a lot lower than Maggot's. But does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because Maggot's had a lot more single matches I mean,
And
both tag guys, but Maggot's had a lot
they
more
just
singles
need to work with
matches.
some other people.
Yeah.
You need to see, I think Maggot would be an interesting person to maybe get involved with. Maybe someone like Jörn and Levanuel, or get involved with Norman Harras or something like that. Get him working with some different people, and likewise, you could get Ahura working with someone like Jörn, or Ahura with Bobby Guns or something like that. You just need them to be doing something. Get them away from each other for a bit, and when you can get to maybe in tag, get them in a match at Carat second round next year or something like that. I just think
Where it's not quite as signposted, yeah.
Yeah, have them like keep them as far away from each other as possible. Don't even book them on the same show. It's just I feel like you just need to have this street fight, and unless something really really special comes out with it, which I doubt there will really, just keep them apart for a year. We don't need to see it anymore.
Yeah. So moving on to the Saturday course showcase, we're not going to really cover because I haven't half a show I couldn't really see, but that's a moment for another time. So move on to Ambition, and for me it's a show which ambitions tend to be really dry if you're not into that kind of wrestling. But I think it was 2 matches in this which, my God, really grabbed your attention. And we'll start with the Director against GMC match, Patrick Hawk and
Absolutely
Icarus.
superb.
Holy hell, I mean, we talk about how disappointed we were with the main event of night one. If they can find a way to get 2 or 3 more guys either affiliated or straight from the Gelsenkirchen Fight Club, Amboss versus GMC, there's your Kayfic Shack next year, because of the heat this generated. And it wasn't the corny, or he's the MMA guy, he's lowering himself. It was it very early on in the match, Icarus boosted him in the gut and sent him out through the ropes.
That was great.
I thought it was going to kick off right there.
I can't believe this was only 3 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, again, the preamble and the post, but yeah, bell to bell, 3:35, and holy hell, WXWNow.com, sign up. It's not going to be 4 minutes of your time. It was a freaking masterclass.
Yeah,
And hopefully this does lead to something else.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do some more stuff. And I say, like, Patrick Bork, he's 39. He's we might have missed the boat on maybe his golden years, but he had a natural sort of he just naturally knew what to do. And the story I got from the sort of some of the Germans that I know were saying effectively he's always had. Apparently, by all accounts, he's been coming to WXW for like 5 or 6 years, so he's actually a really big fan of the company.
Always helps.
So, with that, in the sense, is he kind of has the idea of what to go, but you kind of hope that I assume Patrick Bork's maybe one of the senior guys, maybe at GMC. You kind of think, well, you'd like to think some of maybe the younger guys in GMC might go, well, do you know what? If Bossman can do it, let's have a go.
I think he's one of the head trainers there from gleaned from the pre-match stuff. But
I'd love to see him do a GMC versus WXW Ambition show. That would be great. If there's more people like that.
Oh, Tag Festival weekend. I'll film one.
Yeah,
of the
where they do the they've sometimes done the Ambition Wild Card or something like that. Like chuck like a couple of the GMC guys in the tournament. Bloody brilliant.
We had Torsten Legat, and I'd heard of the name, but I didn't join any of the dots. Ex Schalke player.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 matches. Ex German international. Ringside. The all white tracksuit. I don't know if there's any plans to him, or he was just there for the local affiliation, all that kind of stuff. But he's 54. Doubt you're not going to get him in for anything too high profile. But yeah, I mean, just that whole thing in the bubble, plus the post match with with Bork. I've always wanted to do this and celebrate on the ropes. Dreisker pulling him down. Set the tinderbox off, light the fuse, easy dynamite again. Yeah, I mean, that to me I thought was the perfect example of non-wrestler, for one better word, coming into WXW's home turf, and winning, but not make neither guy look like an idiot either.
No, I think Icarus looked awesome in this, and I think and I think Cyborg looked great. And it's exactly there was potential for a bit of embarrassment maybe on one side, but there was nothing. Like Amboss were maybe the people who probably were more likely to have been sort of, oh, let's give them a bit of a give them a booting out of town look. They're running away with their tail in things, but no, both groups looked great.
Yep.
Legat did laugh a bit during the end of it, which kind of did. he sort of broke into laughter, but that was the only thing. But apart from that, yeah, absolutely cracking. One of the best matches of the weekend, I think.
Yep. And we're talking about stuff that maybe didn't go the way it should have done. The super fight. Axel Tischer beating Luke Jacobson just under 7 minutes. This is a freaking robbery. And I'm not going to say, Shooter Schultz morphed into Marcus Weiss, because I know that's stuff it's been litigated in the past, but all I'll say is there's benefits to playing at home. Some decisions go your way, because if it's meant to be you're standing 10 counts. I think Axel was down for 20 at one point towards the end before he won.
I'd like him to run this back in London.
That is not a bad shout.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to do, maybe. If you could get something, get a microphone underneath Luke Jacobs' nose at some point in the next couple of weeks and say, "Come on, I'm not happy about what happened. I feel like something happened. I want this Ambition Rules match I want a rematch at London. Give me a progress referee and make a thing about Shooter being incompetent or something like that. Whatever. That'd be a great thing to do for London. Something different as well.
Yeah, it's not just going to be he's a bunch of names.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, we're 2 months out from that show. Progress haven't announced anything for Strong Style weekend. We've got like 5 names from the WXW show, and I know there's a bunch. Said that may not be going to. Tommy Geeson was speaking to after the show on Sunday. I think he's actually on holiday for that, so it's going to be kind of like a weird.
My view from chatting to a lot of people is that people are going, we're not sure if we're going yet. We're not sure yet. So, yeah, that seems to be the view. But yeah, it's a lot of open spots. Sorry, as you were saying.
Yeah, see what it is, because right now, at least in the lineup, it could well be like a Wheel of Wrestling Live, but making tape. But we'll see how that goes. But so after Ambition, of course, Fuminari Abe won the whole thing. Can be missed to say Thomas Shire. So he was on the Wheel of Wrestling wildcard last year.
Yeah,
he was a real dark horse of this. I'm not just saying that because of the cowboy hat either.
Yeah, he was unexpectedly just ploughed through everybody, didn't he? And I think the size of him, sort of his height and size, obviously is hugely advantageous for him. And you had him beat Guns quite handily in sort of the second round. He
beat Tahani in the first round
as well in the first round. And I say it came down to RB in the final, but it was he had a very, very good run, and I think he's made a very good account for himself. I think especially people who probably I'll be honest, I remember he was at the wild card thing, but I don't remember too much from him. But for now I'm like, yeah, Thomas Shaw, he's one of the guys. It's I'd love to see him back. I think he could. I feel like there would be I don't know if I could see him in the Carat, maybe, but I could definitely see him coming back for something.
Maybe the RB role next year.
Yeah,
going all the way, but that's maybe a bit too predictable. But I'll move on to second night Carat. We've had the Fight Forever pre-show. One thing I remember that weekend was a GCW contesting the Fight Forever trademark from AEW. And I took a photo of the Fight Forever graphic in the Turbinenhalle, tweeted out, and yeah, I had to turn most notifications off, just people going, oh god, the game's never going to come out now. It's like, well, yeah, but WXW ran, was it 2017, 2018?
Yeah, Fight Forever's been a thing in WXW since 2017. So,
and we've been remiss to point this out, but no better place for now, I guess. The production values for the entire weekend.
Yeah,
like my god, like I know Dennis tweeted out like a blueprint photo, like a snapshot for blueprints. It's like, what's this like for next year? And no, so basically, it's 1100 in for night 2. That's the most they can get in an all-seating configuration. And what they did,
standing,
yeah, well, that's some standing on the balcony up top, but yeah, all-seating for most part. And what they're doing now is seating on the stage. And I think they're doing this next year as well, based on what I've heard. But so instead of having the massive video screens on the stage, because obviously people are sitting there, 2 video screens above the stage, and if you remember the early era NXT, a video cube with an underneath screen above the ring, which I don't remember seeing anything even close to this on the indies.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else that's ever done it.
In a lot of indies, you're lucky to get a video screen running, let alone
exactly.
5-7 video screens all in unison without any issues.
Yeah, it's and well, I think one of the screens had a bit of a hissy on one of the nights, but that was it.
God,
that might not have been. You might not have seen that from your position.
No, I think the showcase, the underneath one, was flickering a fair bit.
Yeah,
and during Ambition as well, it didn't like.
But a flickering screen's nothing,
Yeah, I mean, Christ, some of the screens we've seen. Andy's MacBook, anyone? Was at that one Rev Pro show?
Yes.
But so yeah, I mean, no, we've always banged the drum. WXW's had fantastic production values. And short of the entire balcony being video screens, I don't really know how you can top this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did like it. I did like this. I grew into the setup. I hated it on night 1, but on night 2, on the second day, I actually sort of grew into it, and I really enjoyed it at the end. But I think the only thing it did miss is I think it did really miss the big stage. But you kind of either have a stage or you have the tribunes on the stage. So you kind of have to have one or the other. And I think probably they do prefer the big side. It's at first I thought they'd actually set the entranceway to be up in, where the old where the merch is.
I like for one year did that for Bobby.
Yeah, I thought they might have actually switched it like that, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Which they could. There's no reason why they couldn't do that, to be honest. But yeah, at first I was kind of like, oh, are they doing that? That's a bit weird. But yeah, it seems to be quite a lot of it. There was a lot of changes, but I did. I think by the time I got used to it, because I hated it night 1, it was perfectly fine, and the only thing is you weren't constantly like. I didn't feel there was, and this is a very niche complaint. There wasn't a photograph you could take, and it's like, yep, this is Carat.
Yeah.
You can take a picture of the stage at any point during the show when it was where they had the big stage, and like, yeah, Carat, this is all the thing. You could take a picture of the ring with a thing above it, and that was it. That was the only thing you could really do. But that's a very, very minor complaint, really.
Yeah, like in terms of like if you want to do like your selfies, what have you, it's you weren't any of the photos of Saturn ring aping at the end with a big stage in the background, but again, no, it was something different, and again, I did notice on some of the VODs, we maybe didn't use like the underside of the cube as much as we perhaps could have done. But again, it's something brand new they brought in maybe for 1 year, 1 weekend only. And see what they come up. But say maybe on night 2 we had the pre-show match. Becca beat them all, and I think from what I can tell, they're doing that story for Marl, same as Anil Marik. Neither of them have won since they've come back.
Yeah,
they're
not.
I don't know. Do you want to do 2? Well, Mitch wasn't even a good run before she left, at least in terms of fan reactions. But yeah, go through had the return of the tag shuffle gauntlet. This is like some mix and match teams, some established ones, and Rotten Flop making their return. And Mike, I knew that at Tag Festival, people were cheering them against Amboss. I was not expecting that many people to cheer from when they came out here. The music's that good.
It is a big return, I think, Alan. I think they are possibly face now, aren't they?
Officially, yeah, because obviously we have the Wheel of Wrestling match as well.
So Yeah, I mean it's good that they're back. I think they have been certainly missing over the last couple of weeks, last couple of shows. So it is good they're back, and I think the only problem is the people they beat was a bit of a ragtag bunch of people. Really, they weren't really. I feel like it could have gone longer, that tag team gauntlet, but they could have put some better teams in as well.
Yes, Farming and Rambo home team, Ilya Bloom and Nick Schreier. I mean, we'll touch on this on night 3, but you had the quote unquote academy lads, and when you see those guys in the main show, yeah, it ain't gonna go long and it ain't gonna go well for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like they could have maybe used some of the people from the showcase a bit more. You had people like your Vaughan Vertigos in there. You could have done a Danny Black and Vaughan Vertigo team. That might have been an interesting pairing. Could have chucked a Luke Jacobs in with somebody. Done an Arbe and Jacobs or something. That would have been good fun. But yeah, apart from that, it was a bit of a weak gauntlet. I think, but they kind of have to fit people in best they can, really, don't they?
Yeah, and again, I think one thing I did like, we had the Maggot and Psycho Mike team, which was the 2 cult favorites, and really it was only Ares and Trey Miguel, which aren't local, but yeah, again, that kind of speaks to your point in terms of the tag divisions, especially lately. There aren't that many obvious contenders, and I think that's something they do need to do a good job stocking up. Again, that's maybe criticism coming out of Carat. Of quarterfinals, I guess for me, pick the bunch, Tahani over Francesco Akira. He had a sneaky good weekend across the 3 nights he was on.
Akira,
The good Italian boy, yeah.
yeah, that's surprising. And technically, should be a linear shotgun #1 contender, really.
We'd hope so, but
Yeah, you should. I mean, he's got he beat the champ. He beat sorry, obviously we didn't go through the results of everything, but he beat Roman in the first night. So you just think they might maybe do something with that at some point. But
let's even get more dates. I know, obviously, with New Japan, it's kind of tricky to do that kind of stuff. But so we had that.
I mean, he's in London on Sunday. He could come and do Frankfurt on Saturday. There's no reason why he can't. But
I think Laurie's got a shotgun title match announced for just this afternoon. But yeah, again, no, it's not like he's off to Japan anytime soon. Best of Super Junior's not till May, so
yeah, I think
we
he's back
had
here sort of semi full time, isn't he, for a bit?
yeah. Well, I don't think that many with really full time in New Japan right now will do 1-2 on 2-3-2s off unless you're really deep in there. I guess outside had the women's 4-way, Baby Allison regaining the women's title, submitting Eve Kolaski, Allison Gnave Everett also in there. I don't want to say the Allison experiment's over because I do think, handled right, there is something in Allison, but I think that first go around for title didn't really click.
Yeah, it was a bit of a. It's a bit of a shame, really. I think we've said it before, but I feel like she almost had her reign completely back to front. She should have won Femme Fatale and not gone anywhere, and sort of basically spent the last couple of months battering everybody, and then won it at Carat. I feel in a way they kind of pretty much did it the complete opposite way they should have.
Then, of course, we had the tag titles. I was hungry, beating the French Doors to regain them. Spice was only like 11 minutes. I mean, we did, it was almost like, I don't say a repeat of a tag festival final, but there's a lot of, I say callbacks, been a lot of stuff heavily influenced and reminding you of that. French Doors, are no longer tag champs, and I guess if you want to go down that route, it opens the door for them being singles guys. Especially now you've got.
They were sort of teasing that last year, weren't they?
Yeah, because I mean, before they had the tag run, they had those matches against each other, and at one point, I think we were saying it looked like we were going to split.
Yeah, and then they bloody won Tag Fest.
Yeah, they did. They just ruined all our predictions. They don't like our fancy booking.
Yeah.
And then main event, Bobby Guns. I heard some people saying whoever wins, we all lose. Bobby Guns pinned Norman Harris, and you said after the show, this was like Vader and Will Ospreay, your call, and yeah. I also heard someone, I'm not going to mention names just in case we don't want this out. The most overbooked mess they've ever seen.
Oh, I thought it was bloody brilliant.
I mean,
I like stuff like this.
I would say overbooked mess. I don't mean in terms of being an absolute dumpster fire. It was like when you write down everything that happened, there was a lot they crammed in. Like from the start, Norman making it no DQ, then you had was it Tass being kicked in the balls, all referees being systemically executed. It felt like, Bobby being zip tied to the ropes. It was just one of those things where nothing was. I'll say nothing settled in a bad way, but it's like something happened. You just got used. Then something else happened. Then something else happened. It's like just a constant body blow to your emotions.
For me, who has like a very, very short attention span, this is the best way to get me to watch a 20-minute match. It was never going to be a straight wrestling match. It never was going to be. It was always going to be. I feel like there was too many sort of loose ends, but there was also lots of opportunities for them to screw over Bobby, but they didn't. And I think it's an interesting thing that they've done, and I don't know whether it's intentional or it's just coincidentally they've done it twice. But it's the whole thing, Bobby being the honourable, the Iron Man, the honourable wrestler. And I kind of think back to the Andy title match, and everybody was going into that thinking, bloody Vinny, his brother's going to screw him. His brother comes out and he's going to screw him, and he didn't. And then I come out to this one, and you have Jörn come out, and Jörn's not going to screw Bobby. He's got no dog in that fight, but he doesn't do it. Lavagno comes out, and you think, ooh, he might be able to do it. He might screw him, but he doesn't. Michael Knight comes out, and you're like, Jesus Christ, he's going to screw him, isn't he?
Especially when the only friends split up back in last year as well.
Exactly. And with that, you kind of think, well, there was. I don't know whether it is intentional as part of the whole. He's honourable, and everyone respects him for that, but. There were so many opportunities for him to be screwed, and there's at least 4 there. I said 4 over these 2 big matches he's had, and he's not had it happen. So it's kind of like with that in mind, it was very interesting. But yeah, I did sort of compare it to Vader versus Ospreay. One of the greatest matches in the European boom, even if it was pretty dreadful. It was just a spectacle, and I felt this was a spectacle. I feel like I am probably out in the cold on this, because I think a lot of people really disliked it, but I feel that it paid off. If you compare it to, unfortunately I'm mentioning the person, but if we compare it to the Will Ospreay David Starr match at the York Hall with Andy Q coming in with the 2 fists up and that sort of thing. That's a long, this is a long story, that the Norman Harris Reign of Terror. The David Starr Andy Q thing from Rev Pro was probably equally as long, if not longer, and that was a terrible payoff to that feud. I feel like this, although it was mad, I don't know how you pay off this feud without it being mad. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you go back. I mean, we played the video package. Which went back to. We've just started uploading the Shotgun 2020. 3 years in the making, pretty much.
Well, Tagfest 2020. Tagfest 2019.
Oh Christ! Yeah, when he came in as Star's partner when Eddie Kingston dropped out.
Tagfest 2019. That's how far that goes back.
And say to us we don't do storylines, okay, because we're not batting you over the head with it.
I don't know who's saying that, but
well, I've heard some complaints and all the matches with no storylines, but okay, what do you want them to do? Bat you over the head with memes and drip feeding the same match 5 times over? Like, I'll take a long storyline where it's not subtly hammered into your skull. But, I think, like I say, endless chances for Bobby to being screwed. Just the way the ante was being up, it was pretty much very early on. Norman dug out the toolbox, and there's a bloody throwback to old progress and the toolboxes and all that. So going back to the, we had the toolbox, obviously. And just the way the stuff's been, elevated, like had, Bobby was being whipped. I mean, his back was still a mess for next day. This wasn't like one or two, belt strap whips. It was a lot.
Yeah, he looked
But
really rough, didn't he?
like, I mean, I don't know what he's paying for sins for, but my God, like he left it all behind.
Yeah, for sure.
To use that cliche.
Yeah, it was. I just feel like it was perfectly good for what it was. The weekend did definitely suffer by not having the big title match for sure, but I feel like they'd sort of painted themselves into a corner by having just the belt in a bit of a mess over Christmas. So I feel like this is probably the best they could have done, really, short of putting it on Tisha and getting somebody big in as a challenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
night 2, the craziness in the title match. So Sunday start off with the Wheel of Wrestling 42. And again for Sunday morning, Sunday lunchtime show, I think was they'd only announced was it obviously Rotten Flock getting the tag title shot from the Gauntlet. They'd announced, what else was it? The
Nathaniel Buzzard, I think.
Lavanya Leighton Buzzard and the Psycho Mike Baby Allison Maggot against Jacob Crane, Charles Crowley, which was where the whole payoff weekend was for that story. But that means the Sunday afternoon shows, anyone may have had a hangover, is a nice way to easy back in ahead of Final Night of Carat. But for me, I think, 3 matches jump off the page here.
Yeah.
Luke and Goulius Jr.
Yeah.
If I was one that, when Goulius out first, then was Luke's music second. I think you need a few people on the VOD going, like that kind of response.
Yeah. It was a good for someone like Goulias. I think Luke is established. I think as one of the bigger people in Britain at least, and I think Goulias is. I kind of see Luke about 3 years ago in Goulias. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd love him to sort of break out as much as thing, and obviously it is difficult being in Hungary. But it was a sort of a good gift for Goulias to sort of get a chance against someone like Luke, and he didn't show himself up. I think they were perfectly paired.
And Luke didn't get screwed this time, which is a win-win
no.
for him.
No, I'd love to see Luke in one of the tournaments. I think he could definitely do a good job in one. It kind of baffled me that he maybe didn't do Carat anyway, because I think he would have been a perfect. He wouldn't have taken up a space that should have been taken by somebody else. I think he would have been a perfect spot in there.
I do think with Luke, and I was maybe going a bit off topic, and you kind of see this in the British scene as well. I do wonder how many promoters have gone, Ethan Allen's back soon. Will pair up the Young Guns again, because was it back end last year Ethan re-injured his knee?
Yeah.
And you do wonder how many promoters have gone, okay, well, he's had a singles run, we'll do the tag thing now, and then had to change gears for last minute. I obviously don't know what's going on with Ethan. I know he's said he's taken a step back from wrestling for the time being.
Yeah.
If this is something where this time next year,
still in the same spot.
We're still in the same spot, then absolutely throw him in Carat. Absolute worst case, put him in Ambition proper.
Throw him in Carat, put him in Ambition. Like say, even if he doesn't, I'm not saying he needs to win Carat by any stretch, but I think if you think about some of the British guys who've gone over in the last 5 or 6 years, I don't feel that Luke is any weaker. If not, he's possibly as strong as some of the better ones.
Yep.
So, and it's obviously they think highly enough of him.
After that, we had the shotgun title match, Fumino Yabe going down against Lawrence Roman, who, of course, for the weekend, he's getting a bit fond of pulling those trunks. And then, obviously, the payoff for the weekend, Psycho Mike getting a 16 body slams in on Jacob Crane. No, I think I said in the review.
Is that a record?
I don't think anybody's counted, but it's got to be, right? Not counting like Iron Man matches.
Yeah,
certainly consecutive body slams at least.
Yeah, that's maybe there was a world record in there and we didn't even realise.
Yeah, what's his face from Guinness World Records to count, but I think I put this in review. Like if I'd gone to this cold, watched it on tape, I probably would have hated, it wasn't too tongue in cheek, wasn't all, it was obvious what the joke was and what the payoff was going to be. It wasn't all, oh, am I going to do it? Oh, he, am I going to do it? That kind of thing. You knew what the joke was, you know what the payoff was going to be.
Yeah.
I did like the whole Benny Hill stuff at the start, where first time Crane and Mike when we ring together, Jacob ran away, Mike followed him, and Tass followed after him, and everybody else chased after us because Tass started doing the count out. I thought that was quite cute, but not in a ingrating way.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the quarter now, it's fantastic set piece, and I guess he still can do Jacob Crane wanting revenge, but I think maybe that's the book being closed on that particular chapter.
I think they've probably done enough of that. I mean, unless you do, it becomes a running thing and he comes back all the time. And I mean, fairless, he's part of the Smash setup, so there's no reason why he can't be a regular here. But I think that's possibly the end of that, hopefully.
I did notice for the Smash match this year on the showcase was Mike and Crowley. Sebastian Suave was over early in the year, wasn't at least another match over Cowboy Weekend. I don't know if he's backstage or anything like that, but
I didn't see him ever, so and I thought I might have caught him maybe out and about, but no, I didn't. I never even saw him, so I think he was even here. I thought he might have been, but
again, Smash Run, they've only just started resuming shows, so
yeah,
if Smash Run next year, maybe a couple of different people.
I feel if Suave was over, he probably would have been involved in the main event on Saturday
with the Norman stuff. Yeah.
So, I think with that in mind, definitely wasn't there.
And moving on to night 3 of Carat, so of course your semis and your final. I may as well break this one match by match since we're final card. Irie over Hura. I think this was maybe the last banana skin. Since we wanted to have a Hura go, we had Hura go far.
It would have been a very, very left field winner, but they're not averse to doing it.
Yeah.
Axel
Tischer over Peach Tahani, which was Arn called was a limb work match throughout. And I think there's one bit at the end where Tahani landed that 450 splash, but because his arms and wrists had been worked over so long, he couldn't go for pin. And by the time he crawled over, he was sucked into a Kimura. I mean, Petrie's was the quarterfinals last year of a semi this year. He's no one on the, I would say, slow progression, but he's slowly getting there in Carat. And we said last year, if they can get enough consecutive dates on him, it's only a matter of time he has a breakout, whether it's in WXW or elsewhere in Europe.
Well, I think he already has broken out, isn't he? Really?
I mean, like a top level.
He's not working in Britain, but he's working everywhere else. And they obviously, you don't get into the semi-final of Carat without being considered at least highly thought of. So I think Tahani's got a I'd like to think he's probably got a title run at some point in the next year. Probably I'd assume a shotgun title. I think that's a good place for him to go. Could you maybe chuck him in a tag team with somebody maybe as well? I think there's a lot of sky, sort of the sky is the limit really for Tahani really. So I can't. I think he had an excellent weekend, and I don't think he's winning. I don't think it's like he's got to the quarters and he got to the semis, he's winning next year. But I think he needs to, as long as he just stays on the course, doesn't mess up, doesn't fingers crossed, doesn't get injured or anything like that. I think he's only 22, isn't he? It's like he's
22 or 23, I think Dave Bradshaw said, which blew my mind out. Yeah,
he's no age, so I mean, he's got even if he he's possibly not even peaked, sort of thing, which is a thing. And you kind of think about Ospreay when he was 21, 22, and maybe the same sort of thing, really, don't you?
And again, I think in fact it's a wide variety of players. Okay, maybe not as much in the UK as we'd like, either of us.
Yeah,
but it's not all matched with one promotion. It's the same guys, but it's that breadth and that variety, which is only going to help.
Yeah, and he's always getting the interesting people. He's working with people like Tischer and Dreisker, and I'd like to think maybe get something with Irie, get something with Bobby. they're not bad people to be working with
No.
at all, and it's
And just that level of names as well, it's a good sign
Exactly.
of a trust, yeah.
exactly, and you want to if somebody was to bring him over to Britain, I think you could chuck him against most people. You chuck him against a Robbie X, you chuck him against a
You already had Oku for PWO.
yeah, the Oku match was good. You chuck him in against a Robbie X, you chuck him against to be honest, Luke Jacobs might be a good fun sort of thing. There's lots of really really exciting people I think he could go, and I'd love it for this to be a real breakout year. I mean, I don't know what his limitations are. I believe he has got sort of quite a young family, but it's there's a lot to there's a lot of excitement in that camp for me at least.
Now, fingers crossed, anything the UK does come sooner rather than later. But it's gone from good weekends to bad weekends. Anil Marek lost again, didn't even tag in here. So on the Wheel of Wrestling show, he'd been pulled from the card. Had oh woe was me promo. Robert Dreisker interrupted. So a fair bit of laughter from the crowd because it was an old Dreisker. Oh, I'm always right. That's why I'm mad with you. That kind of thing. And the challenge was Amboss against Anil and two mates. So it was Massimo Pesca, Nick Shrine, Anil Marek. No offense to those guys, but you can probably see where this, how long this is going to end. And then being Dover, Icarus, and although Lawrence Roman came out and actually was in the ring, it's actually Robert Dreisker in the match, got the win, and things that over the weekend Robert was crowing. I won more matches than Anil Marek over Carat weekend, and I did the broken freaking face.
Yeah, I mean the thing I remember from this when I saw it coming out, I was like, Jesus, Anil Marek is so bad that even Ilya Bloom and Danny Frey don't want to hang out with him. he's got the C squad of academy jobbers. No, there's no disrespect to Pesca or Schreier, but yeah, it was kind of like, oh, this is going to be a bit messy, I think, and yeah, poor Massimo Pesca got stretched the peach.
He got the kayfabe track stretch, I guess you want to call it.
He got pulp. He did.
So after match, tries to tore shreds out of Marek again, and I think I put my review it was like verbally castrating him because took his mask off, dared Anil to hit him. Anil broke down in tears and walked back, and the lack of a crowd response. But
I think the issue is that I don't think really anybody knows him really.
Because the whole thing was during the no fans era.
He broke out just before Carat 2020. He had a lot of stuff during no fans era. He got injured just before the crowd sort of came back, sort of in a big way at least.
Yeah.
So nobody knows him, and it's kind of like. But I think the fact that he's completely lost his mojo means he's kind of has to. They have buried him, but there's the only way is up from here, really, at this point, isn't it?
I don't think it's going to end with I don't think it's going to end with obviously him winning Carat next year or anything like that. No. I do think it's the kind of thing where this weekend was very much he's lost a lot. Now he's the point where he's not even wanting to take the free hit that he's being given.
Yeah.
I don't think just clicking through upcoming posters. I don't think there's any upcoming shows.
Yeah, but even from that point, within a character sort of way, why would Anil Marek be on the poster?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, even's just like rounding out squads, but yeah, I think it's the kind of thing. Maybe take time off, return. But again, it's a case of where. Like, does he come back to upset Amboss? Because we've already had the kayfabe track.
Do you know what I think would be brilliant is if Dreisker's like, come on, right, I'll tell you what, we've actually organised a match with somebody, a really, really tough opponent for you, and he has to face Dirty Dragon.
Oh god, the Dragon trial series.
The trial series. And then Dragon beats him, and then
have a former Young Money Chong still working, bring him out.
Yeah, exactly. From Chong, yeah.
So we mentioned him earlier, Ilya Bloom up next against Adam Priest. So Priest, didn't have the belt here, obviously Reaction Wrestling champion. Pretty decent match, but against another one of those. Bloom got the win. And I don't think it's anything like he's going to get a rocket pack, but this is a good match of a very capable guy, and it's keeping him away kind of match I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was. As I say, I think. Well, we spoke about this already, but like Ilya's got given I think there's a nice opportunity to sort of have a match against somebody sort of some international renown. I think Adam Priest is one of the more highly rated sort of guys on the American Indies nowadays, isn't he?
Yeah, and you just need to get Eamon Heat to yell "Roll Tide," what the hell that was.
Roll Tide, yeah. Roll Tide, maybe.
But I mean, decent match, and again, this could easily be won. I know Luffy, maybe not so much now, but there was a Casper a few years back had that US tour. If Bloom, a year or two from now, goes on, has a weekend tour in the States.
It's when you think you need an excursion system really from WXW, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like the dream would be, Portsmouth and Gelsenkirchen could have a talent train. It's like, right, we'll send Ilya over for a few shows, and they send, I don't know, Cameron Kaye or JJ Gale over, sort of thing. It's almost like they need to have a bit of a. He needs to go on excursion and wrestle some new people. Really, that's all he needs to do.
And Michael Oak was going over in May. Add that to your list of your agenda and what have you. But decent out from Ilya. Then we had Euro, I guess your old side for Eurograp special. Mike D, Tristan Archer, Francesco Lavagno, mainland Europe representing. It's a number one contenders match for.
Alan Forel described it as a European Championship group of death.
That's not a bad shout.
Belgium, France, Italy, and Germany just somehow got through the seeding, got put in the same group.
And this time, as Belgium came through, which I guess pretty close to what may be happening. Well, maybe not golden years of Belgium behind them, but Mike D end the weekend on a high. Pin Tristan Archer, Francesco Key with third man, Lavagno brawled for back with Norman Harris. So there's your direction. You can get more Lavagno and Norman Harris, which it keeps him away from the title picture, which I'm not going to complain about. So yes, you got that. And Mike D
now the number one contender.
That's going to be a tasty match when it happens. But Mike D and Shiggy, wherever that's going to be, is going to be very enticing. Let's just say.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very tasty prospect. I think it's. I don't know where they will do that though.
We will come on to that because some of the upcoming posts, at least, it's narrowing down the choices, shall we say. Okay. Only Friends came back in action, had a tag match. I think that's more just re-establishing them as a duo now for 100% extra tail. That's what the chant was. That don't have a go at me for that. Then you had your batshit crazy Lucha 6-man tag with added Fuminori Abe.
Some people say this is one of the best ones they've done.
I'd be inclined to go down that path. Like, it's the kind of thing where you've got to be in the moment. You've got to be wanting to see a match like this. Like, if you're the kind to, I need QR codes and I need video packages, you're not, if you're going in that kind of mindset, you're not going to like it. If it's this is what's match 64 of a weekend, you've got the big Carat final straight after, and you're just going to get absolute batshit flips and all this going on. Yeah, this is the match for you. Like, 13 minutes and the amount of stuff. Like, I think those poor sods in front row, opposite the stage. I think they were standing up watching half. The amount of times they were diving their way. It's like they have not even a chance to go back to their seats.
Yeah, the chairs is a bad choice if you're on the front row on these matches.
Yeah,
especially on that. If you're on the production side thing, they've never fared well at any of these shows.
Yeah, the seat deposits are very much at risk on these weekends. Yeah, I mean, say 30 minutes, 20, absolutely fantastic. I know there's a few GIFs and video clips floating around. If you like,
getting picked up by people who aren't necessarily WXW people, which is always a good thing. Yeah.
As is the main event to some extent. So Ilya beating Axel Tischer, just over 17 minutes, referee stoppage. So your new Unified World Wrestling Champion, Shiggy, and this
never in doubt. Never in doubt. I called it about a month ago.
Yeah. I think there's a few thinking with Tisha because he got the new music treatment as well this weekend.
Yeah.
Got rid of again, it never felt like this was Saxman's year.
No, I didn't think it was. I think Irie, as soon as it came clear that Irie was around until at least June, I was like, well, it has to be Irie, doesn't it? I mean, this is his 5th or 6th tournament weekend.
I want to say 6 did a few tag fests as well.
Yeah, so it's his 5th or 6th tournament weekend. He's done a few other lot of shows in between. It's not as if he's not put the hours in. He's not put the time in. So it's a hell of a sort of a rice pudding finish to the weekend. You know, probably one of the most, you know, just lovely endings to a tournament, because there's nobody in the world who can't say that he doesn't deserve that.
No.
He's consistently, his level, you know, I don't think he's had anything that's dropped below 3 stars in his entire time in WXW. He's had absolutely, you know, incredible matches over the period. I think he's had a rough run to the final against people who probably he had to give a lot more. He dragged a lot of people through probably some of the best matches of their career, and them not being very good for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, he had to wrestle through Tristan Archer, has to wrestle through Metahan at half speed. He had to wrestle through Ahura, and I think, you know, all 3 of them, they can thank him for keeping him above 3 stars, to be honest. So, but yeah, I think as a final, I think Tisha for me was sort of my MVP of the weekend. He's turned around.
Won a lot of people over, a lot of his old detractors.
It's exactly, and I think it's always the thing about Carat is that we always we do. I think me and you probably do groan a bit. People who maybe only watch it at Carat, only watch it and maybe Tag Fest, you kind of go, well, you know, you're not really seeing how good he is sort of on the other shows. But I'm glad Tisha managed to really, really kick it up a gear over these weekends and have this weekend, and, you know, it'll be good on you, man. He's got all of the. I was sort of thinking about the other day, and it makes sense if you know me, but I think all of the good things about Bad Bones crossed with Tim Thatcher, and I think that's what Tisha is at the moment, isn't it? And I know we sort of laugh about Bones as a person, but it's like for everything, like the facials that Bones used to be incredible in WXW, and I think that
he was like the face of the company for a while.
Yeah, Tisha's got those now, but he's almost, it's like he's sucked up half of Tim Thatcher as well, and I feel like that's a really delightful thing. And you know, I think he has to be the best wrestler in Europe, including Britain at this moment. I can't think of anybody better.
Bell, absolutely. He's not top. He's in the top 3.
Short of Will Ospreay or someone like that, there's not anybody better in Europe at all.
No,
by far. So, yeah, absolutely deserved brilliant final. I thought the finish was a bit hokey. I think I think he was called a little bit too early, slightly too early. But you know, yeah,
the spirit lives on.
Deserved winner, and I'm very excited to see where we go from there.
I think the last babies are just starting to come down from being thrown in the air a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, I know going in, you know, you had some folks going, "Oh, you're not going to put the belt on New Year. He's not going to be around." It's like, that's a valid point, but you also got to think this is in 2017, and I'm going to do a really bad impression of those 2 adverts. Like, I've just found the listed towns from the Wheel of Wrestling 2 in 2017. Like back when WXW were running most weekends, multiple shows, but like Oberhausen, Bielefeld, Wolfenbüttel, London, Gotha, Halle, Cologne, Munich, Waldenkreiberg, Hamburg, Düsseldorf, Weihe, Kultenholz, Magdeburg, Ilsenburg, Ludwigshafen, Fulda, Chemnitz, Dresden, Leipzig, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, Heuswerder, Bremen, Bielefeld, Hilpoltstein. Like, a lot of places you've heard about, you know, through football, a lot of places you've never heard of. WXW don't run that often. Like, I mean,
not as often, no.
not as often. Like, I mean, I'm looking through their the next events page, and between now and July, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have 10 shows between now and July.
Yeah.
Which
for some companies would be a lot, but for WXW it's not. Yeah.
And again, we've been spoiled through those glory days where they were running multiple times a weekend, taping stuff for Shotguns. Where it was literally a full-time promotion, which maybe contributes to some full-time burnouts.
Yeah, but then they also in 2017, 2018 they had the riches in terms of the roster. I firmly believe they had one of the best rosters in the entire world at that point. They had Walter, they had Ilya, they had the A4, they had Tim, they had David Starr, they had Jörn, they had Dreisker, they had the people in their ascendance as well. And some killer fly-ins as well. So they're not the promotion of 2017. But as I say, some people maybe do look at it like them putting it on an import, and it did feel. I'll be honest, this weekend it did feel a bit like when Shingo won Carat, but it was entirely like the last two winners. Well, actually, sorry, the last three winners. Let's face it, have all been imports.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really have any, barring maybe Cara and Noir, I don't really have any complaints with any of them winning.
I think with Cara and Noir, that was maybe an experiment across wider Europe.
Yeah.
And who knows how that may had we not had the pandemic, who knows how that may have ended up or what that may have turned into. But I mean, I think compared to other parts of European scene of roster, isn't what it was. I don't think it's as gutted as other parts, I would say.
No.
I mean, going for upcoming dates. So obviously we've got this Saturday, Wheel of Wrestling 43. We're doing 16 Carat Gold Revenge. I am a little concerned that we are 2 days out and only 3 matches announced. We've got the Nulls X9 Street Fight, Maggot against Ahura, Baby Allison defending women's title against Alice Inc. And I think they announced earlier Igel Blanc against Lawrence Roman for Shotgun title. The also appearing as Tristan Archer, Axel Tischer, Icarus and Dover, Meta Hanyan, Simmons, Paige Hanyan, Levaniel. So you can get a few decent matches out of that, but 2 days out and 3 matches announced. It is sold out, which maybe why they're being a bit.
Should be after Carat.
Yeah. Well, first big show after Carat, you've got. And I think it was sold out before Magden, who was even announced. So yeah, I would like to see maybe one more match announced, but again, see how that'll be dropping on now next month.
Yeah.
April 15th for an Orbit Traveling, it's a house show. Axel Tischer against Metahan is there. Cues from the poster of all. Hector's back.
Yes.
And did you notice in the WXW Now 2 promo they played the cheeky shot of Dennis Stornick?
I did see that as well. Yeah, it's
that's what I'm saying.
The dream could be back, and that was around this time last year that Dylan.
The Papenburg show, yeah.
Yeah, so there was because I remember I had COVID. So yeah, that was maybe it's the dream team is coming back together maybe.
True Colors 2023 in Dresden, April 22nd. So you just going off a poster, no Irie on this. I think he's in the States for about a month after Mania. We've got Tristan Archer, House of Hungry, Lawrence Roman, Ava Everett, Maggot, Baby Allison, Mike D's on the card, French Doors, Axel Tischer, Michael Knight, Bobby Guns, and Paige Honey. Again, it's the first big show after Couch, so you can be looking 2 weeks before you start getting matches, definitely coming out of Frankfurt. Wheel of Wrestling in Leipzig, April 23rd of a Hellraiser house show, but you've got the House of Hungry against Only Friends, Ava Everett against Baby Allison, and Fast Time Mudo against Ahura. So again, announcing was, but they're not going to make broadcast at least. May 12th, Wheel of Wrestling, that's Triton. How do you say the 30th time? But how I meant to look this up. That's Dreisig Mall in Market Hall. 30th show in the Market Hall, and you've got Tristan Archer, Baby Allison, Shigehiro Irie on the poster, Axel Tischer, Maggot, LSG, House of Hungary, Lawrence Roman, Bobby Guns, Tahani, and Ahura. No Mike D, so that might be saying we're pushing that back a little bit further, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. That's obviously the next one. Irie. Irie is working in Italy this weekend, I believe, isn't he? So
Italy, and then of course everyone's off. Well, most folks off to Mania weekend. Papenburg, May 13th. So we love wrestling live, so not making tapes. You'll have Irie, Allison, Archer, Axeman, Maggot, LSG, Arrows, Roman, Ahura, Tahani, Bobby Guns. There's a Wheel of Wrestling Academy live show on the 20th of May. And touch them at the end. Oh, this is part of the fan weekend. Sorry, it's one why I was in the Turbinenhalle, because fan is also on May 20th, and this has got Irie, Dora Nicholas, Michael Oku, Axel Tischer, Trisha Dora, LSG, Baby Allison, Maggot, Peter Tahani, Lawrence Roman, Ahura, French Doors, Tristan Ash, and Bobby Guns. And you're obviously going to get some of the Academy folks on the matinee show as well. So not bad lineup, but you're going to get 2 shows for 1 ticket price, which, ain't something to sniff at.
You can't sniff at that. I mean, you can sniff at flights to Oberhausen, but...
Well, right now, yeah. Then, may as well do the next 2, gets up to July. Wheel of Wrestling Live in London, that's on May 27th. I think front row, that's gone. If you just buy the single show tickets through Progress's Dice website. Tahani, LSG, Tisha, Maggot, and Trisha Dora announced so far. They'll be getting a few more, but I guess we're waiting on Progress to actually announce anything for Super Strong Style before we can do anything.
Yeah.
Then Driver Champions, June 17th from Turbinenhalle. Nobody's announced that, but thinking, maybe that's where we're going to get Mike D and Shakira Irie.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely place, isn't it?
Because then you're going up to some Wheel of Wrestling live shows, and then
Shortcut, you assume, in the summer. And
Shortcut, yeah. I mean, they never announced more than one Oberhausen show in advance anyway, so it's not we've got a massive break, but they're not going to announce, we've got you can do Driver Champs in June, or you can do Shortcut in August, but after that you've got like Erfurt, July 9th, Bremen, August 28th, Salzgitter on 2nd of September, then Tag Festival end of September, and then View of Rosin.
I noticed that actually, saying about shows booked, they've actually got a show booked for April 2024. I can't think of ever. No, sorry, they've got a show booked for December 2024.
Yeah, Balkan. That was announced.
I can't think I've ever seen a show
last year.
Over a year in advance. Year and a half advance.
I think this is them being very optimistic. I mean, knock on wood, there's not going to be any more pandemics or anything like that. But was it? Oh, of course, it was the Erfurt show, wasn't it? That was one of the first to be cancelled in COVID, and the last they fulfilled because of rescheduling. So, hey, if you if you want to put a finger in the air, I guess the anniversary show's going to be 21st December 2024. If you want to book for the end of next year, but I know just from looking myself, the flights and that for Carat next year are just going up, so maybe looking a bit too far ahead if you're looking for anniversary 2024.
Yeah, if you're trying to book Carat hotels now, then I think you deserve to have it be $3,000. just wait till October. Just wait till December, like everybody else. wait till Black Friday. That's what I always do.
What was it, the trip you were looking at? And like they were expecting, I don't know, it was probably some glitch in their booking system, but like some stupidly extortionate rate with breakfast included. It's like 200 euros for the room, and then up to $3,000 if you wanted breakfast included.
Yeah, it's only 15 quid a day, so it's fine.
But yeah, it's a big whack anyway.
The European Championship next year, I think, has messed a lot of things up in the area, because in June there is obviously a lot of games in the Ruhrpott, so it's kind of been messed up by that. But that's really the only thing. It's you just got to keep an eye on these things. But I mean, don't book your hotel now. Wait until Black Friday at least. Come on.
I see the named all the arenas for the Euros next year, and it's all very the insert town name here stadium.
It's very off topic, but it's very dumb because half of them actually have proper names outside of it. So them calling it the BVD Dortmund Arena instead of calling it the Westfalenstadion is kind of a bit of a joke for me, but there we go. There we
that's
go.
that's not a sponsor name, is it? It's
No, it has a proper name, and there's the Rheinstadion, which is Düsseldorf. They all have proper names, but they have the Arena auf Schalke for the Veltins, and it's like no, the Gelsenkirchen Arena. Well done. Very off
yeah.
topic.
I guess the person who had the job of putting those names in, ChatGPT or whatever he used, wasn't exactly on format day, but we'll stop going off top. But yeah, so I think once we stitched this together, thanks Craig Boss looking over now. But yeah, that was a lot of 16 karat gold. So we've got obviously Wheel of Wrestling Frankfurt this weekend. I believe the Fight for Power show they did last weekend with APC is dropping
that has
Friday.
actually dropped already, I believe.
Sorry?
I believe that's dropped already, isn't it?
Let me check, and you can hear the clacky keyboard. I know they uploaded the first APC one earlier today because we've been doing a lot. So we've got where is it? So they've uploaded Friends and Now Showcase from this year, the first week of Catch Grand Prix 2020, Shotgun 2020 Series
APC
1.
is tomorrow. My apologies.
Yeah. They've been uploading a fair amount, supposedly, post Carat Burnout. They've not slowed down, but and even the first Wheel of Wrestling show of Walter Newyear from 2020 back in the day.
Yeah.
And Dead End 2020 with graphic written maybe doesn't age well, but anyway, so yeah, so got the Fight for Paris. We'll probably take a quick look at, and then the 16 karat gold revenge. And since was it True Colors is a month away, probably back in a few weeks. Have a look at those and anything else with Trump. So, but anything to plug, Mike, before we log off for the next few weeks?
Not at the moment. You can follow me everywhere. You can follow me on everywhere as at Mike Kilby. Everything you can follow me on there. I'm gonna try and find more social networks so I can just more obscure things I can just plug and have my username on.
Tumblr.
Don't think I have the Tumblr actually, but you probably can find my Tumblr somewhere. I'm not at Mike Kilby on Untapped actually. That's a good point. But,
I'm just thinking of what about Pinterest? Anything on
Pinterest? There? I did have Pinterest. I've not used it in a long while though.
It makes two of us. I still get the email alerts for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us. I think tinyurl.com, Groundhoppers Football, the old episodes of Groundhoppers Guide with you and on Furious. Yeah. Unless he's been hacked like Lions Tech Tips and everything's been pulled down, but
no, it's all good.
Strange things happened. Backbodydrop.com for the reviews of Carat Weekend and everything else. At Fresse Pod on Twitter for this podcast. We'll really just start using that a lot more. At Big Bag Body Drop on Twitter for the website. At Body Drop on Instagram for photos. Fair amount of those went above Carat Weekend. I think I've got to re-upload the Night 3 Carat photos. Probably get that done over the weekend. Probably around the time you'd be listening to this. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for listening, everyone. And hopefully my new voice will be buggering off before we're back in a few weeks' time. Until then, cheers.
Cheers.